thanking you that you have found some time in your agenda, first to come to Macedonia, to come to Bitola, and finally to be part of this program.
For me, coming to Macedonia is a kind of a link to the past. I was born in Macedonia, and I was born in a very special date, the 4th of March, 1943. I still believe I was the only baby that survived that tragedy in 11th of March, 1943. So I have a link to Macedonia, a very strong link. Well, I tell you, three things. I think my link in the past with Macedonia, and second, I remember my parents talking a lot because my family coming from here originally, and my mother was always talking with a great memory about this place. Macedonia for her was a place of wonderful life before the war. You know, the place Macedonia was a very special place. Was rich in culture, rich in motivation, rich in trading, and she talked a lot about the society, different people who lived here. You know, from different Christian, Jewish, and non-Jewish, and Muslim who share this part of this country. And I think when I was approached if I like to do something in this place, I said immediately yes. It's not a question, why not? I have a link, and then it's a genuine link.
Your first time coming to Bitola, and I suppose that in these few days you have to learn a lot about the surrounding, the environment, everything around.
Absolutely.
And most probably at the end you will have more answers on that. But now, for the beginning, can you tell us where do you see yourself in your role in that idea of Memorial Park of the Jews? How can you find yourself in the concept now?
I tell you, this time I think as a thinking artist is the most crucial time, because I have to come up with a concept. It's my first visit here, first time I saw this place. So the concept is crucial, you know, I had vague idea before I came, you know, I looked at photographs of the area and but coming physically here, all those ideas that I looked in the past, they're not relevant anymore. So I have to restart again. And today I had the first visit at the site, the old cemetery of Bitola, the old Jewish cemetery. My biggest shock, I didn't realize how big it is. This is an enormous place. Secondly, he's on a very special slope, you know, on a hill, kind of reaching up on a hill. And I thought, oh, whatever I do is going to look miniature in the area. So I have to rethink how to develop a concept so my artistic output should really contribute and not just placing something in a cemetery.
And now you have to redefine all your thoughts again.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also by being today first time in the site, you know, I feel that it's almost how do I explain that? It's almost a spiritual place. It's like the earth and the ground is whispering something to me, you know. So I have to listen very carefully. You know, what is I think so. I think my last project of making a sundial, that I have a great passion, not so much for the sundial, but the concept of time. What is time? We people, we think we understand time. Time is something so phenomenal. In space, our Earth moving, when we are close to the sun, we're going faster. When we are away from the sun, we're going slowly. That means time in space is flexible. But we people, we couldn't work with the flexible time. We have to create time that is by minute, by second. So my obsession with time is where we are in space, where we are here and now, you know, and solar time is the most accurate time by a millimeter, by a split of a second. If thing goes wrong, we're in trouble. I had many years ago in England, I had a studio in Greenwich. Greenwich is a very special place because the meridian line, zero line, going through Greenwich. So through my studio was an imaginary line going through my studio. So I used to put my right leg in the west and my left leg in the east. And I thought, that's clever.
That gave you the ideas of working with time.
Yes, yes. Because England, in Britain, there are many, many sundials. But tragically, you know, it's not enough sun in England. So, do you understand? So my first project of sundial came through, I had a client who used to live in Ascot in England. And I had a model in my studio of a sundial. And he walked in and he said, "What's that?" And I said, "It's a sundial." He said, "I want that," you know, and that's it. You know, my history of making sundials started. You see, in New York, I had a specific place in front of the Hall of Science, so it was no problem. The space was specified. In Jerusalem, again, was a park opposite the old wall, and the space was specified. Here, I was shocked to see this huge size. So I have to find a way how to implement the whole site so my sundial is actually part of the site and not just, you know, placing an object, you know. I think if I succeed here, it's going to be a new break for me and a new break for Bitola, because that would create hell of a lot of interest for a lot of people to come and see something that is actually artists try to work with a difficult site. The site here is not easy. It's because it's on a slope and it's big. In Israel, I have a very close friend of mine by the name of Ilan Manolis, who is the chief astronomer in Weizmann Institute of Science and Technology. And he worked with me on the last Sunday in Jerusalem, and was an interesting kind of working with him, because he brought absolutely the accurate measurement and I brought the artistic approach. And as a team, we did very well together on this. And I'll give you an example. When we finished the project in Jerusalem, Ilan came back to me and he said, "Mati, we have a problem." I said to him, "What's the problem?" He said, "We have a mistake by 1 second and 1 millimeter over 1 year." I said to him, "I can live with that mistake." What is important, that the people who are going to come to the park, they're not going to check with their watches the sundial, because the sun time is different from our watches. I had a example. The mayor of Jerusalem, when I finished my project in Jerusalem, came and he looked at my sundial, and then he looked in his watch and he said, "Mati, it's not the same time." I said, "You of all the people, you should know that." He said, "Don't tell anybody, don't tell anybody." It's very difficult to answer that particular question, but if you ever have a chance to visit Israel, and if you come to Jerusalem, we have a huge monument of the whole story of the Holocaust. And you know, it's no beginning and it's no end to it, because you know, it's so colossal that it's almost difficult. You've been to Yad Vashem. It's so colossal that it's almost difficult to even imagine what's happened, you know. So I don't have a small answer for your question in this particular subject.
It's an answer that I haven't heard. That you can measure how much people are trying to respect it. It's always too difficult to be measured. It's an impressive answer, she says.
Thank you. You see, I was in a sense very lucky. I was the right guy in the right time. When I came to London in 1969, and I went to do my postgraduate, in the art college, and the headmaster of the school sent me immediately to the British Arts Council, and he said to me, "Just don't say anything. I'm sending you there. Just listen." So I went there, and then I received 2 scholarships. That was amazing, And what was amazing, my first exhibition in London, in Covent Garden, a young guy walked into my exhibition by the name of Alan Aldrich. And he looked at my work and he said to me, "Would you like to work with John Lennon?" I said, "If I like to work with John Lennon?" Do you understand? And my tree of my work was exhibited in the last book of the Beatles with John Lennon's song, poetry. And I met him, and it was amazing story, for me to meet hero of my kind of youth, in real life,
And these steps took you where?
Well, then a lot of things opened for me, doors, is almost invisible doors open, talent is a power. Talent is a power. If you're a musician, if you're a writer, good writer, good poet, good artist, good sculptor, people open door for you.
Secret gates.
The secret
doors.
Gates, yeah.
And
Invisible.
Nevidlivise. And they brought you to New York, to the Big Apple?
Big Apple, again, is fantastic because I tried to break into a galleries there, the scene of the gallery, and was unsuccessful. They said to me, "You must live in New York, you couldn't come from outside, you must be part of the scene, then maybe."
Then?
And then, from zero, a mysterious door opened for me at the Jewish Museum. I had my big show at the Jewish Museum. So, no galleries, straight into the museum. That is crazy also,
And then you go back to the galleries.
Then it's easier, Then,
Od muzej do galerie.
Yeah.
Mnogo pojednostavno više.
So my advice to many artists, start with the museum.
I was impressed with your artistic biography. You're not just a painter, you're not just a sculptor. You're so many things. You're a writer, you have done so many things.
I tell you, my real heroes in my life are the musician and the poet. For me, because I couldn't write poetry and I couldn't play instrument. So for me, those are my big heroes. So, okay.
Yes, please.
And then I in Israel, in London, I work with the best poet, D.M. Thomas, Yehuda Amichai, and we work in collaboration. And
D.M. Thomas, Yehuda Amichai.
Not D.M. Thomas, D.M. Thomas.
D.M.
D.M. Thomas.
What did you work with them?
We work in collaboration. With Yehuda Amichai, for example, I cut 100 woodcuts on the subject of Jerusalem, and he wrote a prophecy poetry about Jerusalem.
Talking about musicians, what's the favorite one in your corporation?
I tell you, my neighbors in London, when I had my studio, was a young guy called David Bradnam, who classical guitarist. And every day he used to come and he had a corner in my studio and he used to practice. And I used to say, "Oh, how they can do that? I mean, this is unbelievable." And he used to say to me, "You're the greatest talent." I said to him, "Forget me." I said, "You're the greatest talent, Look, and to be an artist is an adventure. An adventure can take you anywhere, So it's no one avenue, It's like I'm here in Bitola and I'm seeing today a site. I never saw such a site in my life, So this is a beginning of an adventure. How to look into that? What to do with that? And I don't want to fail Mina, and I don't want to fail you people in Macedonia. to come up with a daft project, you know. So I don't have a particular avenue. What I get involved, and what I see myself as a present man, present in time. I live now, I work now for now. You know, I don't work for the past, and I don't work for the future. And I think that's
the real answer on the question.
Yes.
It means that we're going to have the chance to see you more times in Bitola, and that you're going to bite this challenge called the Memorial Park of Joseph Monastery.
I hope so. I hope so. Seriously, it's a big challenge, and I hope I can. Otherwise, I could never come back to Bitola. You know.
More.
More.
You have to.
Thank you very much.